Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, and welcome back to the channel. And today, for you guys, there's another podcast with Echo Killshot. It's been a while.
Yes, it has. Oh my gosh. I just so much stuff to talk about over the summer. I've just been trying to hold it in. Like it's crazy.
I know it's been a rough, it's been tough because I've been going to Disney. I haven't really been able to talk to anyone, but that'll be a thing for another day. But I want to start off this podcast by first of all saying to subscribe to not only myself but Echo Killshot as well. Leave a like, comment, and all that good stuff. Obviously, but my first topic I want to get to is Assassin's Creed because Echo has been shotgunning quite literally through the Assassin's Creed franchise. I consider myself a big fan. Echo is also a big fan, but I have not played all of them. I wish I had. I own them all. I just haven't played them. But Echo, I mean, dude, you've played. I don't know all of them really, except for I think you've actually played all of them. But in terms of like beating them all, you're currently on Origins right now. But I mean, you started at the first game. How is that? I mean, how does that even work?
Um so the journey has just been really amazing. It does feel like it's been like a year since I've started. Um but when I tell you like I I shotgun through every game, I mean, obviously not in like a way that I just want to like get through it to get to the next one. I obviously want to enjoy the game for what it is, and I have been at least trying to do that for pretty much all of them. I actually made a ranking before we started because I did assume this was going to be one of the topics,
Mhm.
and it's pretty much my ranking from the worst Assassin's Creed to what I think is the best in terms of my experience, which some people may agree with. A lot of people are going to disagree with it, but yeah.
Oh boy, some hot, spicy, sussy takes. I take it.
Yes. So should we get started with that now?
I am ready.
All right, cool. So coming in at dead last. For me, this has been the most glitchiest and painful experience I think I've ever had in a video game. Period.
Wow.
Um, I should have looked up not to buy it on PC, but I did have it in my Steam library for a while, and with Mirage coming out, this is kind of when the whole journey started. Obviously, I didn't start over, but I picked up from where I left off.
Okay.
Now, the experience, just to keep it short and simple, was trash, terrible,
All right.
dumpster fire, just an abomination. And I know this game is like highly looked upon. It did start the whole franchise, obviously. Um, but man, the parkour, it wasn't satisfying. The hub
Okay.
worlds, I'd say my favorite out of all of them was Jerusalem. Only because I'm a Bible freak, so
Mhm.
um, that is a pretty cool place to I guess visit. But also the missions very repetitive. I just saw no story. Going in and out of the animus, pretty much once every sequence was annoying, and obviously you're in it for the assassin stuff. You don't care about Desmond and just walking around Abstergo. It's just um plain and boring, really. It was really a more struggle because of the glitches, which did make this a very painful experience. I
Now it's funny
picked from
because you say that you have all these crazy bad glitches. I have Assassin's Creed 1 on my 360, which I played on my Series X. I haven't really had. I mean, I maybe had one or two things, but I mean, I remember when you called me and you were like, "Hey, this game's garbage," and I was just like, "I don't really have any of these issues." So, I mean, you guys got to tell me in the comments. But I mean, maybe I'm the weird one. I don't know. I mean, who knows? But at this point, I just think it's really interesting that the PC version of the first game is like you say, it's like a dumpster fire. I just think that's crazy.
did not age well, but I feel like even without the glitches, if I just played this back in 2007 or 8 or whenever it was made, I still don't think I would hold it to such a high regard as a lot of people do. Um, it's it's my least favorite, not only because of glitches, but it 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 just doesn't appeal to me the way I find the real start of Assassin's Creed to be Assassin's Creed 2, which I hold pretty high. But since we're going from worst to best, it's going to be a while till we get to that. But Assassin's Creed 1, a 4 out of 10 for me. Just ugh, ugh. But yeah, Um, so next up, I actually have Assassin's Creed Liberation. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah.
New Orleans. Yeah.
It's
Uh,
kind of
it's look, it's for being a like a an expansion, really like a DLC.
right.
It does have 9 sequences. I feel like the ending was they obviously have you with that trick ending with her stepmother and stuff. I did find it to be like kind of like a Cinderella story in a way. And also gave me some Princess and the Frog vibes. Just reminding me stuff that I kind of grew up with in my childhood. I
Mhm.
guess kind of made me find this game really charming, I guess, in a way. Obviously Connor showing up was, a huge surprise. And guys, I love me some Connor, man. Connor's you don't mess with him. If you saw that cinematic trailer, he does not mess around.
No, he does not. No.
But yeah, Liberation, I had a better time with it. The disguises were cool. Um, but it's just kind of like a short and sweet and move on kind of a game. Nothing really too special, nothing really too crazy that was added on from Assassin's Creed 3. And in fact, it actually kind of looked worse than Assassin's Creed 3, which is weird. But yeah, I have Liberation at a 6 out of 10. So, better than his AC1 for me, but still not the best. But yeah, what about you?
I mean, look, when it comes to Liberation, I recently played that, and yeah, it's whatever. I mean, the story I don't really care about the story. It's nothing. Um, it's obviously, if you really pay attention, you might enjoy it. But for me, I kind of lost interest like the second cutscene in. The
Yeah,
ending's just wonky. Um, I don't know. It just everything about it just seemed kind of bland. The open world's fine, the hubs are fine, I guess. But yeah, for some reason it does look a bit more wonky compared to AC3, which for some reason I don't know how that happened, but it did. So yeah, I mean, look, I got Assassin's Creed 3 remastered, and it came with it, so I was like obligated to play it in a sense. Um, not bad, not great. It's a whatever game.
yeah. It's a decent like expansion to I guess the main story of Assassin's Creed 3 because obviously Connor does play a part in that towards the end. But yeah, really just its own thing. Meh, really. But yeah, next up coming in at a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. Um Here we go. AC Brotherhood.
That one I haven't played yet.
Um So this is obviously a continuation, uh, right from the ending of AC2. The opening is great. I really love the opening. I'm not gonna say any spoilers for what happens, who
For
gets
me.
off, or whatever. Yeah, for your sake. This was the time where I was like, what the third game in to Assassin's Creed,
Yeah.
and I took a break. I took a long break. Which therefore made me forget pretty much all the controls. Like when I say I took a break, I mean like I took a good break. Like I didn't start playing these games until July, which, like I said, 30 days, and I'm at Origins. Like, I know to some people that's not like super crazy, but for me, I mean, like that's a lot of games, dude.
Mhm.
Um,
It
but
is.
yeah,
It really is.
Brotherhood for me, it it just didn't land the way that I thought it would. Maybe I had too high expectations going into it. Going to the Coliseum, you do go to the Coliseum, and one mission was pretty cool. There are a few missions that are just ugh, not good. The tailing missions, not as much as Black Flag, but they are just long and tedious and petty and everything all above. I do think it is very overrated. Um, but it still has some enjoyable factors. It does take a lot of the stuff from AC2 and mingles around with it. But yeah, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I mean, it definitely
Pretty
does have
fair.
an intriguing villain, but yeah, I don't want to talk too much about that because you haven't played it. But yeah. So next up, I have AC Origins, which I don't have like a ranking of it yet, but I still decided to put it in here because I technically have played it, or I'm into it. I'd say a decent chunk, but this is obviously the first RPG AC game,
Mhm.
and it's not. it's not terrible. It definitely, I'll say this, it is the most beautiful looking game by far.
Oh
The
yeah.
the sandstorms and just riding your horse through the sands and the textures. It has all that great stuff. Bayek, his story, even though I haven't finished the game, I think he has an amazing arc so far. Um, Obviously the leveling up XP based stuff is, I think we can both agree, is tedious, and it's like they expect you to be, at the beginning of the game is like you got to be at level 10, or the suggested level is level 10, and you obviously don't want to go into a mission when the suggested level is like level 25 and you're level 5, because that's just stupid, right? You're just
Right.
going to get mad for nothing. So um obviously I try my best to get to that suggested level, but it's that's just the biggest negative, I think, for me. Everything else is all right. I mean, the combat is all right. Just I feel like it really took a way different approach for Assassin's Creed. It does have, some okay climbing mechanics. Um, Bayek is definitely not the most assassin like, I'd say, out of the bunch, which makes sense because even though he is considered the first assassin or the first hidden one, um, you think he'd be the best assassin of all time, but really, not so much. It's all right though. I'm still like I said, not finished with it, but I'm having a better time than I did with the prior three games that I mentioned. So yeah, Origins is probably like a 7.1.2 for me.
Okay.
But what do you think about Origins?
I mean, I don't want to say I disagree, but I do think that the leveling up system can be a bit tedious if you don't know what you're doing. If you're just like, oh man, let me, if because like when you're doing it, you wanted to rush through it, not rush, but you didn't want to spend like a year on one game. So for me,
Exactly.
I do that though. Like that's how I roll. I just like to do that. I like to take my time. Um, so at the same time, it's also a bit weird for me because, you look at it and you're like, okay, you could either spend a ridiculously long time working on it, or you could just shotgun through the campaign. And when you do that, then you open yourself up to the leveling up crap where it's like, oh man, I'm not level 100, I'm level 7 or whatever. So sometimes it's like that drastic. So yeah, that could be a bit wonky at times. Graphics are great. On Series X, it runs at a solid 60 FPS. They did give it an update. um, Bayek is not my favorite character, but I think out of the new three, um, Bayek, Eivor from Valhalla, and Cassandra from Odyssey. I do think Eivor is my favorite, but Bayek does come in second. I think he's a really good character. A lot better than, say, Arno from Unity. What I mean, he's not bad. It's just there was a lot in there. I was like, Arno could have been better. So I think Bayek's a good protagonist. Of course, you know me. You guys hopefully know me by now. Whenever I'm playing open world games, I love respawning enemies. I don't like an open world with nothing to do afterwards. And every Assassin's Creed has that. But I think Origins is really cool because it's Egypt. It's freaking huge. There's a massive open world of Egypt, and I just think that Egypt is such a cool place to explore in history books. I don't know the history that much of Egypt, but I do like I like the time period, so I think it's really cool. I think it was a really good way to kind of start off the franchise canonically, at least.
Definitely. Egypt is definitely a very beautiful setting and location, and you do feel just the greatness and the openness of that, because man, when you're going from like north to south, it's like 16,000 something meters. It's
It's
insane, but
daunting.
yeah, it is daunting. It is definitely more more giant. I'll just say that. But yeah, next up I have AC Unity. Um,
Mhm.
man, I was going into this game really because I see all these new reviews, people saying, "Oh, Unity was overhated. It was actually pretty good, despite all its bugs and glitches." And it wasn't even really that glitchy for me. Obviously, there have been updates and stuff, and I am playing on the PS5. Um, but Unity for me, man, it as far as glitches go, was not crazy bad. I mean, obviously I did experience some, minor bugs and stuff, enemies
Mhm.
kind of went through the walls and stuff. So there
Yeah,
was that, but
classic Ubisoft jank.
I do think there is slightly more positives than negatives in this game. But let me just start off with the negatives. The combat, ugh, it is not the greatest. It's better than, AC2, and that's pretty much it. Um
All right.
it's so unsatisfying because you got to attack, but if you attack then you can't counter, and you got
Yeah.
to dodge, roll out of the way. And the opening to this game is just so random. It's just like, am I playing the right game? Is this actually Unity?
Or it's like
um
fetch an apple or some shit. Or you're playing as a little
yeah,
kid.
yeah, so that really confused me from the start, but I will say Arno is very charming. He's one of the more, I guess, comedic assassins, if you will. There's definitely a serious and dark tone to it. I think his arc is decent, but not the best. Um, Elise, uh, Elise, she's hot. Ugh,
Oh yeah.
hot, hot, hot. Especially that hot air balloon mission, man. That was actually a pretty fun mission, I'll say.
Yeah.
Um, the world building, the customization. This game was just so ambitious, and you really feel that when you go into this. Um, and I could just imagine the people in like 2014, bro. Like, must have been insane. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, I have AC Unity at, I'd say, like a 7.8, or just around about like an 8. It's got its negatives, but the world of Paris, it's just amazing. It's so beautiful to look at. Obviously, the traversal system is better than ever.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Parkour is amazing.
yeah, definitely. It really is satisfying, but the combat, not so much. Also, the stealth, not so much. There are definitely light RPG elements in it though, but yeah, Unity for me, 7.8. It's good. It's good. It's better than I expected, but also did kind of lack in some areas. But yeah. What about you?
Well, it's funny because I think that Unity for me, like I never played it when it came out. I was in high school when it released, and everyone in my lunch table was like, "This game is so good," and I was just like, "I'm not old enough to play it." But now that I am old enough, I'm 24 now. I'm able to enjoy it, and the great thing about it is that, excuse me, getting over a cold, stupid effing got it at the airport. But with the combat, I think look, I don't want to say I was like, oh, you're wrong, but I do think that the combat is from what I understand, it seems about the same as AC3 and 4. Just for some reason, I couldn't get it. Like, I was just bad at it for some reason. I don't know why. I wasn't good at Unity. I just kept dying over and over again. And then I sold the
Yeah.
game. I got mad. I sold it. And I
Oh God.
rebought it like 2 or 3 years ago. And I replayed it all. And of course, I'm better at games now. So I don't know. Maybe I was just stupid back then. But the combat to me isn't the best. But I think it's better than what you say. Again, I respect it. I haven't played Syndicate, but I heard Syndicate is worse in terms of combat. But parkour is outstanding.
Oh.
Obviously, everyone's gonna say parkour is great. It was really, really great. It's funny because when the Assassin's Creed Mirage gameplay trailer dropped, everyone online was like, "Oh, it looks like shit." Why it just copied what Unity did? And I'm like, yeah, I don't understand why they didn't. Maybe they'll fix it or whatever, but I don't know. I didn't have any glitches either. I mean, again, I didn't play it when it released. When it did release, though, oh my god, the bugs were insane. I don't know if like you've seen the you know clips online, but it was a janky mess. Like Arnold's face would just disappear, and he had like two black eyes in his face. It was disturbing. Yeah, it was not good. So thank God they patched it because when I recently replayed it, I didn't have any crazy issues. I think it's one of the better ones.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Some of those points I definitely do agree upon. But yeah, the combat, I just think is the main negative for me. I don't know. It just didn't feel satisfying despite all the weapons that you're kind of given. I mean, the Phantom Blade is cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, it may could have just been that I was terrible at the combat. I don't know. Um, but I definitely do think when you go to assassinate people, I definitely think there's a cool animation there. But yeah, anyways, Unity is it's good. It's like I said, it's better than the previous ones that I've mentioned, so that says something. But next up, right? I'm glad you mentioned Syndicate's combat because next up I actually have AC Syndicate, which I have it like an 8.2, 8.3 ish. Um, dude, Evie Fry, bro. Oh my god,
Oh yeah,
dude. I think that alone just makes it better than all the rest that I've mentioned. Oh,
I agree.
dude, that's
I haven't even played it, and I agree.
dude. She's. Oh my gosh, she. Oh, you need to play Syndicate, dude.
I know.
She's.
I feel like I'm missing out.
I mean, let me just say, Henry Green, Public Enemy number one. You'll know what I mean when you play it.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, London is has that same you know world kind of just fulfillness, right? It's very much alive. You get to climb Big Ben. It's definitely more less less daunting in terms of the free roam stuff. You have your these people that you can go help out that you earn their you pretty much get like weapons and stuff for like earning their trust. So you do these missions for them, you earn their trust, they give you stuff. So you visit like Alexander Graham Bell, um, who else? There's a scientist. I'm blanking out right now. But you meet a lot of cool historical figures, man. Um, but the combat, I'm glad you mentioned it. The combat is really satisfying, and
Okay.
you get to play as Jacob Fry and Evie Fry. Now, we'll say the beginning missions really do hold your hand with that as well.
Okay.
Um,
Now, can you play as Jacob and Evie like in missions and in free roam just whenever you want, or are they specific mission based character choices?
Yes, so there is an icon that shows like Jacob Fry and then Evie Fry.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I'm not mad like if I don't get to play as Jacob for this specific mission. I mean, I think both are equally great. In terms of their gameplay, they're both unique. Jacob's the more arrogant one. He's more comical. He does get serious when he needs to, but he definitely does remind me of Wolverine. I'll say that. And then
Okay.
Evie, she's more stealthy. I'll say, and the stealth is really good. The driving, you get to like crash into these different wagons and stuff, and it's that combat is pretty cool. um there's a whole variety of weapons. I will say Unity has better customization when it comes to like outfits and weapons and stuff, but Syndicate comes pretty close. It really pretty much is the better product of Unity. I will
Okay.
say that. um it improved everything from Unity, from combat to stealth. Story's a little, I don't know. It may hit for you, but it didn't hit for me. I mean, it's complicated. I'll just say. I don't want to get into spoilers, but to be honest, I kind of just forgot the story.
Okay.
Um, but you pretty much take down, you know, the main Templar bad guys. Kind of like apprentices, pretty much, and it's pretty much like plays out like Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. I'll say that. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I can't really say too much on the story just because I found it very dry, very dull. Um, like I said, you get to pick how you assassinate your enemies, which is something you could also do in Unity. I forgot to mention. So yeah, pretty much the way I could explain this game. Eevee Fry is hot, better product of Unity. Yeah,
Sounds fine to me. Now, here's my question, because again, I own it. I just haven't played it. I heard online that enemies don't respawn in the world like after you beat everything. Are there enemies like walking around the streets, like areas, or is it kind of empty? Because maybe the internet's lying to me. To me.
definitely. No, you'll find these enemies that you can actually have a skill which is called notoriety, and pretty much when you're walking down the street, certain enemies will like get suspicious of you even if you're running, right? So even if you haven't done anything, they'll get suspicious. But you unlock the skill where they fear your name and they won't they won't want nothing to do with you.
Mhm.
um so it does, you relieve a lot of stress off your back. if you're already being chased by like so many people.
Right.
Not that it would help, but yeah. So there are enemies walking down the street, and when you assassinate them, it's pretty satisfying and stuff. Yeah, I don't know what people are talking about. I mean, like I said, play the game soon. Only for Evie Fry, bro. Evie Fry is so hot. Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah, she is. I mean,
god.
like I said, I haven't even played it, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Man, we need a remake of Syndicate, man.
I know. I need to just marry Evie.
Just marry Evie, bro. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. But yeah, coming up next, we're getting into like the A tier category. I have it an 8.5, 8.6. AC Revelations. Man,
Another one I haven't played.
this really did hit the heartstrings for me. It's kind of Ezio's last journey. He's an old man, but he still kicks ass. The grand scope of just the world and stuff is really great. There's a lot of new mechanics. There's still that, AC2, AC Brotherhood vibe it's got going for it, but it it's a really great game, man. It's a really great game. Story wise, the ending is just perfection, I think, for me. Um, but customization, buying out properties, all that other stuff that was in the previous games has kind of been brought back, but it's really is expanded upon, and I think in just the best way. And look, the combat, isn't the best for me. It's kind of just the same moves and stuff. Like I said, I might just not be good at it, but you know, there's a lot to do. Um, it's Ezio slash Journey. I mean, it can't get better than that. I mean, it's a really heartfelt game, and you really want to go into it. I mean, just the beginning alone, right? And even when you see that cinematic trailer, it does give you chills. Um, I just think it's a beautiful game and all, and yeah, you really got to get to playing it.
I know. I feel like I'm missing out. I
Very
really
much
do.
so. But yeah, there are memories where you go back into playing in Altair, which this game made me actually like Altair a lot more. I mean, there is a lot of stuff to do with Altair that is shocking. Really, it expands on a story, and for someone that hates AC1,
Yeah.
I liked Altair in this. So yeah, I'm glad that he was a component in that too. Um, and once again, it leaves you off on the cliffhanger because we're not done with the Desmond trilogy. So, you know,
Yeah, right.
um, but yeah, coming up next, I have at like an 8.8. Is AC Rogue, man. AC
Oh,
Rogue. It's
forgot about that one.
Rogue is it's you know it's not really an Assassin's Creed game because you're playing as a Templar, but dude, the way it connects to AC3, the way how it brings previous characters that you recognize, it just does it so well. And Shay is such he's a great Irish lad, man. You love to see it. And I'm not even gonna spoil the everybody that shows up and who dies and stuff. But man, the ending, dude, the ending to Rogue is pretty insane. And like I said, it connects to Unity, it connects to AC3, it connects to Black Flag, everything.
It sounds like a good game. I mean, geez.
Yeah, I mean, it is like the last missing piece of the puzzle to connecting pretty much four other titles together. And does such a great job at playing as that. And you actually, are on the Templar side. I mean, really, when Shay obviously becomes a Templar, he you'd be like, oh, he betrayed the assassins. No, bro, the assassins betrayed him. And this
See,
game
that's
proves
that's
that the
cool.
assassins can be corrupted, that the assassins aren't always right, that it really is how you look at it, from both sides. And this game's expanded on the Templars' perspective of things in such a great way, and it makes you want to go play AC3 and just any game where you really play as a Templar. And I fucking love that, bro. It is Such an underrated game. Such
Yeah,
an
that's the
underrated
thing is that
AC game. Great story. The naval stuff, it's, I mean, it's
it's
one of the
there.
negatives. I'll get into Black Flag when we cross that bridge, but dude, AC Rogue is like, um, it's storytelling wise, it's perfect. It's amazing. I fell in love with the story, and I wanted to keep playing these missions and keep moving on with Shay's story and how he develops from being an ex assassin, and it's such an amazing game, dude. It's such an amazing game.
Yeah, I really, really need to freaking play it. From what I remember, it was fantastic. I did play it a little bit on my 360. Now, of course, I have the Xbox One version, but it always seemed like that one to me that was just kind of there. No one really talks about it because what's funny is that Rogue and Unity came out the exact same day, except that when Rogue came out, it was specifically for last gen 360 and PS3, and Unity was PS4, Xbox One. And obviously, the shiny new Xbox One game is going to do better than the 360, crusty old game. And it's funny because Rogue came out fairly polished, and Unity's the one that was a complete janky, broken mess. And Unity, obviously, I think stood the test of time more. It's more remembered now. Um, but yeah, man, from what you're saying, I mean, from what I even remember, Rogue was a fun game, and I got to replay it because it sounds really fun and it looks really fun. And I'm glad it's got that same, Connor Edward Kenway combat system, which is good. Um, so I'm very glad that they didn't really get rid of that because I think that's probably the best combat system in the game. The Kenway Connor combat, kind of like Arkham.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
so yeah, good stuff all around. I got to replay it though.
Yeah, I mean, final words on Rogue. It's not an AC game that you need to play. It's not one that you need to absolutely play. But I feel like if you're really into the assassins and their motives and the Templars' motives, this game will literally make you think the assassins are wrong, and they are wrong. Like in the case, in the scenario that Shay is put in, you're with Shay on this,
Right.
and like I said, you need to absolutely go and replay it because it's so good, and oh my god, dude,
Well, that's the cool thing about a video game, and obviously, video games are capable of doing good stories. But when you think of like really good media, you think of TV shows and movies. I guess books, but you know, really, it's TV shows and movies. And the fact that you can, certain games can give good stories, then certain ones can give you great stories. Where, you like Assassin's Creed, you've come to know that the Templars are bad and the Assassins are good, right? It's like First Order bad, Resistance good type thing. It's just common sense. But when you flip that on its head, and it's not just easy little thing, it makes you think kind of like certain villains like, Kylo Ren or Darth Vader or like Killmonger, Thanos, Loki. You think to yourself and you go, wait a minute. When the audience can say, are they right? That's when you know you've done a good job because now we're rooting for the bad guy. And I know he's still killing and all that, but there's moments where you're kind of thinking and you're like, wait a minute, this guy's got a point. And I think that's really good storytelling.
exactly like when you see it from the other person's perspective. And you could still be like after the game, oh, but I'm still with the assassins on this one. No,
Mm.
this one literally has me like 50-50. I mean, I I guess I'm independent. But yeah, no, this really twists like not even in like a bad way because it's just so justifiable and it's so you're really in Shay's kind of mind when you're seeing all this kind of go down. But yeah, man, AC Rogue masterpiece in terms of storytelling, has great messages. Really unveils the corruption between the assassins and stuff, and shows that they're not always right. So it does show that they're flawed, which is great. Great like character progression.
Huh.
Um, but yeah, AC Rogue is really good, dude. So next up, right, the third to favorite, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Um, AC Black Flag. All right, this is a 9 out of 10. Not yet 9 out of 10 game for me. So AC Black Flag really, you know, changed the game for Assassin's Creed games to me.
Oh yeah.
Um, there's a new plot line, a new story, a new assassin, which he doesn't even really become an assassin until like you're pretty much almost done with the game. Um, but let me just say the water and when you're just like driving, that's great. The naval combat for me can be a little annoying, but the upgrade to the jackdaw and stuff is really progressive and is really good. But you do have to go out and kind of, find your own ways to upgrade your ship because the game isn't gonna do it for you pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, but it definitely does hold your hand in a lot of areas. And dude, when I say the tailing missions are crazy, overloaded, I mean, they're not bad tailing missions, but it's just you could have
Just a
filled them
lot
with
of
a
them.
lot. Yeah, there's a lot of them pretty much. Um, but there's a tailing mission where you got to tail a boat through like this swamp with alligators and crocodiles and stuff, and it's it definitely is very it's interesting is all I'm gonna say. But I thought the ending to this game was really good. Um, I'm trying to Blackbeard is in the game, so
That is
that's
cool.
awesome. He actually does play a pretty emotional role too. Um, obviously, you know, we got Edward, being the protagonist. He definitely has that charm and emotional, and it's a pirate's life for me kind of vibe to him. But it did really, change the game in the ball game for the Assassin's Creed franchise, and that's something that you always got to be grateful for. I do have my slight concerns with it, but you really do feel like a pirate in this game, which I feel like was the whole point.
Yeah. No, I mean
The
it's
combat
by
is
far the
great.
best pirate game.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I don't know how Skull and Bones is gonna do, but yeah,
That's never coming out.
never. No, just give us the remake.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I feel like I'll love this game more if the remake comes out, and if it does come out, it's gonna be a great time, replaying it because they definitely are gonna fix a lot of things that are, a little messy with the game, which does come with every game and every Assassin's Creed game. Um, but dude, it's a great story. Um, obviously the ending, or I guess the post credit scene was pretty cool. Um,
hmm
really, you go, going from a pirate to a pirate assassin. That whole story was really emotional and really cool. I'll give it that. But if I did put this at the very bottom, people would hate me. So yeah, but no, it genuinely is a really good game. And I do like how it kind of changed the game and made you feel like a pirate and jumping on board, collecting people's loot, uh, you know, doing all that stuff. It really did make you feel like a pirate. So that was really, I guess, my main intention going into this. I want to feel like a pirate. So yeah,
Plus, I mean, add in the replay value. The game does look really great for being 2013.
yeah,
I mean, really,
definitely,
really great. Like I'm playing it and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, this feels like a next gen game on my Xbox One. Like it looks really, really great.
definitely, definito. But
Even the
yeah,
fantastic. I mean, the replay value is great, obviously too.
yeah, and the soundtrack is great. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the sea shanties.
Yeah. Speaking of great soundtracks, here we go. My second favorite AC game of all time, as of now, Assassin's Creed 2. Man, when you watch Lineage, it it makes this game a whole lot more better because it's like a prequel movie. Um,
Right.
but aside from that, just getting the start of Ezio and what's that quote when the intro title, the title card pops up, and may it forever something something us. Um, and then Ezio's family, that whole soundtrack is just so iconic. Probably top three best video game themes of all time, if I'm being honest. I mean, just something about it, just it's so powerful and
It
it's
is.
so igniting to the player. And I just put it on, like literally, I just put it on and I go play whatever Assassin's Creed, and it just it feels amazing.
It
It
gets you in the
really does
feels.
feel. Yeah, it does, because it has that sense of, you know, like a journey and feeling like an assassin and stuff. It's just a great theme overall. But aside from that, it it changed the game for Assassin's Creed. I mean, I could just imagine going back and being in like 2008 and going from AC1 to AC2, like so much stuff. Just it just changed the game really. The combat, like I said, it is repetitive. Um, a lot of great missions. It has its fair share of tailing missions. But you get to meet Leonardo da Vinci, right? And then you get to do a mission where you're literally flying. Like that's just sick. And
Yeah,
there's just so much to love about this game and so many iconic moments. And there was that one hot chick, who I think near the third act of the game, I think she like broke her leg or something, and you had to carry her. She was hot.
oh
Um,
yeah. I remember. Yep.
yeah, yeah, and she teaches you how to like climb, like actually climb, which is really cool. But yeah, Ezio's journey in this entire, him losing his father and tracking down the man who did it, it's just a classic AC storyline, but it's definitely the best. And it's amazing, man. All the places you can visit, so full of life. Um, Mario is a great addition as well.
Yeah.
Um, it's definitely an iconic game, and it definitely deserves all the praise in the world. So yeah, I have it also at a 9 out of 10.
That's a
Um,
good one.
it's a great game, man. It's a great game. But my favorite Assassin's Creed game of all time, best character, best story, best combat. If I'm being honest, um, really truly feeling like an assassin for me is Assassin's Creed 3. Man, oh man, oh man. Assassin's Creed 3. I want to hear your thoughts on this first.
Yeah, well, first of all, I never thought you'd pick Assassin's Creed 3 to beat number one. I think it's great. I mean, I've always been a been a I've always been a fan of it, and I was never like, oh man, I don't really understand the hate for this because, quite frankly, I played it back in the 360. It was I think my second Assassin's Creed game, and it was great. I think it was really well done. The parkour was amazing. The combat is amazing. The tomahawk is an iconic weapon. Connor as a character, it has good motives, and the writing is fine. But I think the worst part about the game is his performance. I know he's supposed to be stoic. He's a freaking idiot, but at the same time, I just don't think he's that interesting of a performance. I don't know. I always kind of get bored of him whenever I see him. I'm just like, oh, great, another Connor cutscene. But at the same time, like I said, his motives are fine. His motives are really good, and I don't really have too much of an issue with it. There's one or two scenes where it's whatever, and the graphics don't hold up that great. But just the ending between him and Connor and whoever the balding guy was, not me, the other guy.
Lee,
Yeah,
Lee,
Lee.
I just call Lee.
Yeah, yeah, that guy. Give me Charles Lee, that guy. Now I remember. He's a good villain. He's not the best, but there's a mission. There's a scene toward the end where they're in a bar and it's top tier stuff.
It is
The fact that you
so
begin,
wholesome.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Well, like when you begin as what's his face, his dad.
Hatham.
Yeah, Hatham. You're like, oh, this is the good guy. This is the guy you follow, and it turns out, no, this is the bad guy. And I think that's a really good twist. And he's his dad. I mean, it's like Lloyd and Garmadon or like Luke and Vader type of thing. It's
Exactly.
really well done.
Yeah,
So I think it
I'm
holds up. In the open
I'm
world, the
such
hubs are
a
great. It's awesome.
I'm such a sucker for those kind of storylines, those father son, storylines. I mean, there's a mission where you team up with him, and just the historical significance too. I mean, look, we're Americans. We love American history, American Revolution, amazing. You get to be in charge of sending troops out to fight against, you know, the British colonizer. It's just so
Yeah.
amazing, bro. So action packed. Um, Connor's outfit is amazing. Obviously, the tomahawk. And look, I know people's main gripe with this game is that you don't play until the main assassin until like 4 hours in.
Yeah.
Me personally, though, I don't mind that. I think it's
No.
great to set up for the actual villain. And when you see that twist, I know every single one of you was like, "Oh my god!" I
I
mean,
did.
I know some people kind of expected it, but I think that was so cool and a really cool way of implementing, you know, how to make a good villain,
Yeah.
playing as the villain.
I
Um,
mean, Assassin's Creed has never done that before. They've never had such a
yeah,
crazy twist.
and in a way, like right after that too, you play as Connor, right? Or Tahika Hatafita,
Yeah.
um,
However you
whatever
say it.
his name is.
It's
um,
Nahada
but
Negaden, I think.
also then he loses his mom. Spoilers, I guess. And you confront Charles Lee, and then he says, "I'm remembering your face, so I can kill you." And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, that was just so cold. Connor's like, I mean, he's definitely someone you don't want to cross, bro. I mean, that's so crazy, the irony of that. And I just think his whole journey, you're with him on that journey, a young Connor, right? And then he obviously goes to what's his face, what's his face. He was in Rogue. What's his face?
Rogue.
Not Rogue. His something something started with an A.
Hey. Arno?
No, not Arno. Not Arno. Hold on. Let me look this up because I don't want to
I hear you
butcher his
furiously
name.
typing.
AC3
You're like,
Mentor. Achilles. Oh my
okay,
God,
right, yeah. You
Achilles.
should have just said the black
Jeez.
guy. I knew, yeah, Achilles. There we go. He's a good character.
So it's really cool. It's really cool, that dynamic. And when you play Rogue, you'll understand AC3. Um, Once again, that whole story dynamic connects so well, and it makes you love AC3 more when you play Rogue. Trust me.
I didn't know he
But
was in Rogue.
you
I gotta
you
play it.
feel Connor's journey. Connor actually gets his name from Achilles. Achilles gives him a name. That's
Right.
cool. He does come from this native heritage, dude. And when he puts that axe on the side of the house, and then he collects it after he kills Lee, oh
Oh, it's
my
so good.
god, it's it's just so story packed and story filled, and George Washington playing a significant part into it. John Adams, Benjamin Franklin. I mean, it has it all. Really, it
It
is
does.
the ideal, perfect Assassin's Creed game. Story wise, combat wise. I mean, stealth wise. And look, you don't really expect Connor to be really stealthy, but it does have its good moments of stealth in it.
Yeah. Well,
But
it's
man,
funny you mention
it's
that because they're like, you need to blend in. You're an assassin. Yet he's a brown kid wearing Indian clothes with a tomahawk. Like, dude, you're not. That's not how you blend in.
I mean, he has his own style, and you know what? That just fits so well when you
Uh,
put into, the player's perspective. It's really it's just so mesmerizing to play, bro. It's just so amazing. You can go visit Boston, New York. There are some filler locations that are just kind of, but dude, you can like hunt animals too, which is crazy. It
yeah.
really did pioneer, no pun intended, pioneer
Woo!
um a lot of great things to be added in later Assassin's Creed game. But in my opinion, AC3 just does it the best. 10 out of 10 across the board. I really did not expect it to be my favorite Assassin's Creed game, but when I think of Assassin's Creed, like, and just how much fun and the experience I have playing it, I always go to AC3.
It's
He
a good
is an
one.
amazing villain. Um, and there's a scene, or there's a part where you're in prison, and that sequence is just amazing. I mean, you're going on this whole journey, and it's so fulfilled, and it's so full of action. It's just full of everything you want in an Assassin's Creed game. It's amazing, man. I love it. I love it. Favorite Assassin's Creed game. Period. The end.
I think it's a great choice. It's not everyone's choice. It's definitely the unpopular choice. But I think it's great. I think so far, again, as you guys know, I haven't played them all, but so far my favorite would have to be a Valhalla. AC Valhalla. I just think that for me, it's a quintessential Assassin's Creed game. Um, but once you 100% it, or at least play through the story, we'll have to see what your ranking is on that. But yeah, they're great games. I mean, Ubisoft, they got their shitty developers or sexual harassment, whatever's going on. But I think that when they choose to make games that are like good and they actually know what they're doing, I played Watch Dogs 1, 2, and Legion. I've had some issues with flickering in that, and they never fixed it. It's not my console. I don't care what anyone says. It's the goddamn game. But at the same time, you look at like Assassin's Creed. That is obviously Ubisoft's crowning achievement. I'm over here
Baby.
playing Far Cry. I'm getting back into the Far Cry series. Those are really good. I'm working on Far Cry 6 now. It's a fantastic game, and really loving that. But yeah, I think that Ubisoft, when they make a good AC game, which is a lot of the times they do, they're good. And Mirage is coming out in October, so I can't wait for that. But before my PC dies, I probably got time for one more little topic here. Um,
Wow.
I'll let you pick.
Hmm.
So we've got Snow White reboot, or I know you want to talk about that, or we could talk about either my Disney World vacation, because I know you haven't gone, but for anyone who has gone or just want to know about it, the rides and all that, the new Guardians ride and whatever, or we could do what was my other one? Star
Maybe
Wars
like
Eclipse.
game of the year.
We could do that. So you pick out of
Yeah.
those three.
Hmm. Let's do a little bit of all. I mean,
Uh,
I'm gonna obviously limit myself on what I want to talk about, but I mean, I really do want to fit in as much as we can. So I'll just talk a little bit about Snow White. It's gonna be the biggest flop I think in Disney history.
mhm. Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much wrong with it. I mean, you take the main actress aside. Where are the seven dwarves?
No, they're not seven dwarf. They're not dwarves. Echo, don't you know? That's racist or whatever.
I'm sorry, my bad. I'm just trying to go based off what is in the original that you're trying to make an adaptation of.
Yes, 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 yes.
They can never get right. You want to know why? We don't like to cast white people because we want to be politically correct and
Yeah.
not get canceled. Well, um, you you something worse. You're gonna lose a lot of money. I mean, you're already losing money off of the uh the strike, I guess. But
Right.
this new Snow White reboot, dude, it's just if you go see this movie, I really, you know, I mean, you're not even paying to see Snow White at that point. Like, if you want to go see Rachel Zegler, pay to go see Rachel Zegler. If you want to go pay to see Gal Gadot, go do that. But if you're paying to go see a Snow White movie, I'm sorry, you're gonna be heavily disappointed because it is in fact not a Snow White movie. And given the name Snow White, which hey, her skin is as white as snow. Dude, and
Yeah.
people like to say that the main actress, she has Colombian heritage. She has some white in her. And I'm like, whoa, there, buddy. That sounds wrong. But look,
Yeah.
she can have, God's given alien purple heritage to play Barney or whatever.
Hmm.
She looks brown as hell, okay? And they're probably gonna try to use some lighting and use some makeup and stuff to make her look more white. But it's like, why go all that way when you can just cast a white person?
Yeah.
And I'm not taking shots at her. I'm sure she's a great singer, but there's also a lot of other great singers that are actually fit the role of Snow White. So that's definitely just I think one of the big complaints. But also, I mean, why are you trying to change the story up? There's not going to be a prince charming or whatever. It's I mean, that's the whole point of Snow White. That's the whole story. If you're making an adaptation, right? It's like saying if you made the Lion King, but instead of Scar killing Mufasa, he kills Simba, and it's a Mufasa revenge story for his son. That's not how the story went in the original. Same thing with this. It doesn't matter if the thing is dated. I don't know what you're calling dated or whatever, but it's they're just trying so hard to be politically correct, and you know what? They're not politically correct as much as they try to be.
Yeah. Quite
This is
frankly, it
only
hurts.
this is only taking more fans away. I mean, just make a good movie. Just make a good movie. But it's like the hypocrisy is crazy, bro. And I've been called a bigot and all the stuff under the roof.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? It doesn't affect me at all because I know that's not what I am.
Uh-huh.
Right? I looked up the definitions. You could also be a bigot, right? Everybody could be a bigot. But I think what I say before I say it. As everybody should. Um, but definitely, dude. I mean, just this whole Snow White debacle. I mean, I hope it flops. I know it's gonna flop.
Yeah, because
Big time.
yeah, I mean, like you said, it's called Snow White because her skin is white. So I've been calling it brown dirt or dirt brown and the seven diversity hires because they're not. First of all, they're not dwarves, and then you're also not getting Prince Charming. You're also not. It's just. It's not even a reboot. It's just a reimagining. Um, and that's. I think whether you're left leaning or right leaning, we got to stop making movies into political messages. Um, because we don't want to offend the dwarves or we don't want to offend the whatever. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like who cares? It's a movie. I never will understand that. Every time they try to make X people happy, they end up offending the other 8,000%. Because let's be honest, the people they're trying to make happy are the 1%, even though no one wants to admit that they are. So yeah, it just boggles my mind. I mean, we've seen it with the Little Mermaid, where they go out and they're like, "Oh well, Ariel's casting has nothing to do with her skin." Okay, so you're telling me there wasn't one good white chick in the entire world that could do Ariel? Like, of course it's about her skin color. It's all about
Yeah.
diversity. You know what I mean? Just look at our political landscape right now. With obviously I'm not going to get political, but if you just pay attention for 5 seconds, everything in the world is about diversity now, and it's quite frankly sickening. And I just hate when
It's
they bring it into
forced.
your. Yeah, I hate when they bring it into my franchises. Like, just stop. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I'll never understand it in my life,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
it's sad
just
because I'm not seeing Snow White or Dirt Brown. I'm not like I'm not supporting that. So I don't know. I don't know who's gonna see it, but it ain't me.
what is. Yeah, and look, people want to make me out and just make us out to be racist and be like, oh, it's because of her skin color. Look, you can make new stories, but when you give it the title of Snow White, right, and you clarify this is an adaptation,
Yeah.
this is gonna be like an adaptation of the original, that gives me the incentive that okay, step one, cast somebody that's as white as snow, right? Not that hard, and cast seven normal dwarves that actually need the work because we love diversity, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
you're
we're
right.
getting a
They
little
love,
too diverse.
yeah, yeah. They love diversity, but not certain things. It's like no, no, you can't pick and choose. It's like women with like, oh, equal rights. It's only equal rights until you want to do something you don't want to do,
That's
or it's free speech until the guy who says something is wrong. Then it's not free
yeah.
speech. It's
It's
so
like
stupid.
a great example of this is the Lilo and Stitch casting, and this is my last thing that I'll say before we move on. But the Lilo and Stitch casting, there was this light toned Hawaiian heritage actress who got cast as, Nani, for Lilo and Stitch, and Nani in the cartoon looks a little bit more darker. So people get mad, right? The leftists, right? I'll just say they get mad. It's okay for them to get mad that she's too white. Oh, but when we say she's too black, it's a problem,
Yeah.
and we get called bigots and we get called everything under the roof. It's that hypocrisy is, and the double standard just goes so out of proportion for you. It's just, can it not cross your mind that it goes both ways? But no, you want to be so entitled to this and that, and your brain is just so clouded, and you just you don't know what to think anymore. So you're gonna try to be fit into a certain group because you don't want to get canceled, or you don't want to get this and that. It just shows how much of a fool and a just a coward you are, really. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's definitely, I don't want to say like, oh, I'm getting oppressed and stuff, because guess what, that's just stupid to say. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not getting any personal backlash from this. I mean, well, I did get called a bigot, but I don't care. um but I mean, thing is, we're not trying to play the victim. And why do we got to make it all about race? Like, why can't we just have good stories with good diversity that's not being pushed? Snow White, her being brown, is being pushed, and it doesn't need to be.
Yeah. 100% right. Yeah. It's funny. They're like, well, I don't know. I can't.
It's
Uh,
16. and I
I'm
think
losing
better
brain
than
cells by the minute.
adults. But yeah, it's just a shame what's come to, Disney and every other studio that wants to follow in their footsteps. But yeah, anyways, that's a whole other thing. All right, so I guess last topic is game of the year. So there's a lot of contenders, right? It's been a lot. This has been a good year for film and gaming. So what are your hopes to be game of the year?
Hmm. Well, I'm trying to even like freaking think of what came out this year. I know we're getting Mirage. I know we're getting Starfield. We're probably getting another Call of Duty that won't win. I don't know. I mean, jeez. I want to say I know Mirage won't win. Some people are saying Legend of Zelda. I don't know. I mean, I haven't played it. Uh,
But can you play as Spider-Man in Legend of Zelda?
that's true. Yeah, I know you want to see Spider-Man 2. I'm not getting a PS5 until the end of the year probably, so I don't know if I can talk on that, but it'll be interesting to see what
It
happens. I mean,
will.
I want to say
Yeah.
Mirage just because it looks genuinely good, but it probably won't be. But what do you think if you had to pick?
I so I have both consoles. I really think people want to hate just to hate because they don't have the other console, or they're just trying to stick to one side of the spectrum and not be open to if the game is going to be good or bad. Starfield, I think it's going to be a pretty good game. I think it's going to be a pretty good game. And you know what? It may not be. It may be messy at launch, right? It may be another No Man's Sky. We don't know.
I hope not.
From what it's looking out to be, though, it's looking to be a pretty good, pretty ambitious game. Maybe not my type of game because it does seem pretty damn big, but definitely one that I'm going to check out in the near future when it does come out in September. So next month. That's crazy. Um, but yeah, if I were to pick two games that were to go up against for game of the year, you have Hogwarts Legacy, Jedi Survivor. Those will definitely, I feel like, be nominated for some categories. Maybe best storytelling, um, maybe best open world, whatever the categories are. Um, Mortal Kombat one is probably going to be win best fighting, but
Oh yeah, obviously, yeah.
um, yeah, so that's going to be cool. Um, but I really think it only comes down to two competitors, and the ones that's been talked about the most is Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I'll be honest with you, I have not played Tears of the Kingdom. I want to play Tears of the Kingdom. From what I've seen, people say it's the best game of all time. From the reviews don't lie. I will say that. But there is a lot of people that are saying that it's open world is the same. It's really just a DLC and stuff, and you know, then you get to Spider-Man 2, which, look, I will tell you right now, I look up reactions of people reacting to the Spider-Man 2 gameplay trailer. And I haven't looked up reactions of people reacting to the Tears of the Kingdom trailer. But I'll die on this hill when I say people are so damn hyped for Spider-Man 2.
They are.
Because Insomniac has proven they can make great legendary masterpieces, bro. Um, the last two games, um, Miles Morales just improved on everything. The swinging, it was a shorter game, but it was still such a great, um, you know, sequel to its predecessor. And now that we're getting an actual sequel, I think expectations are above the roof and beyond. Um, I think it has a lot of things that Zelda does not. I think it's gonna have probably a really great Spider-Man story. I mean, we're dealing with the symbiote, we're dealing with Harry Osborn, all these new additions, Wraith, Martin Lee coming back. I mean, it's shaping to be a pretty good ass game, and I'm just so excited to play it personally. Um,
I
as
am
far
too.
as
Once I get a
contenders,
PS5, I
yeah,
haven't even played
yeah,
Miles Morales. I got to do that. I got to replay all of them.
yeah, but definitely comparing it to Zelda. I have not played Zelda, but I'm locking it in as game of the year 100%. I mean, people are like, "Oh, it's not going to improve on anything. Zelda's so going to win and blow. Spider-Man 2 doesn't even have a chance." I don't know what these people are talking about because they either didn't watch the gameplay trailer or they're just
Yeah,
dumb.
or something.
I mean, really, the gameplay trailer alone tells me everything I need to know. And even the game directors and Yuri Lowenthal came out and said, "You've only seen like 1% or like 10% of everything that's going to be in the game in terms of combat and stuff." I mean, really, we can't go down from here. We can only go up when it comes to the expectations for this game. And I believe they will all be surpassed and met for everybody that plays this game. I
I
mean,
sure hope you're right, because from when I played Spider-Man 1, I freaking loved it. I mean, it's easily one of the best superhero games of all time, and it
yeah.
just you know, I'm very much I'm nervous because it's a high bar for them to fill. But no, I
Yep.
think they can do it. I trust Insomniac. I haven't played Miles, but I do trust they can
Miles
do
is
this.
great, bro. Miles Morales, dude. The swinging is so. God, you got to make a review for that game when you do play it. But yeah, um, just Spider-Man 2, man. I comes out 2 months from now, and I'm so damn excited. Um, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it because it is, without a doubt, my most anticipated game of all time. Of all time.
That's
Um,
crazy.
Hogwarts Legacy and Jedi Survivor are up there. Only because I have a strong love for Harry Potter and Star Wars. But dude, nothing comes close to Spider-Man. And you know, Marvel's Spider-Man PS4. I'd like to say is my favorite game of all time. I mean, I played a lot of games. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a masterpiece and stuff, but it's definitely in my top three video games of all time. And call me a Spider-Man, D writer or whatever, but I just love a good superhero game. And that sensation of swinging is just unlike any other feeling in any other video game. Uh, it's just so sensational swinging from building, and when it's actually done right, I mean, it's just crazy to think how Insomniac can improve from that, and they will improve on that because they strive to be a bigger, better company, and they prove that with Miles Morales. And like I said, there's nowhere else to go but up from here, and that definitely does set the bar high. I think for Zelda as well because it's growing. It's growth. It's what can it do to make the game better.
Right.
So, combat wise, stealth wise, mission wise, story wise, it checks all the boxes for me. I mean, if you've seen the story trailer, the gameplay trailer, it's really safe to assume that it's going to be an extraordinary game, and people aren't gonna give it the high praise that it so rightfully deserves because it's a superhero game. Well, I mean, people hold the Arkham games so high, and
Yeah,
honestly, I think this is gonna be better than all the Arkham games combined.
I think so too.
It's going to be a great story. Venom, all right? It's just when you even think about it, it gets you hyped thinking about it. I don't
I
know if
know.
I could have that same feeling for Zelda personally. So, you know, uh, game of the year 100% for me. If it doesn't win, then it's rigged. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
It deserves game of the year. I mean, it got nominated in 2018, but obviously it was up against some big contenders, and it was up Red Dead Redemption 2 and God of War 2018. I understand that 100%. But this year I think it has it in the bag. I know it has it in the bag.
I think so too. Honestly, because like I said, Assassin's Creed won't win. Even I don't think it'll ever win. It's weird. Like gaming, it's just like the Oscars. There's so many stupid stigmas and stereotypes. Animated movies are just dumb kid movies. All that crap. It's a shame that that's even a thing. But regarding gaming, I do think that there is a little bit of a stigma there too for certain things. So maybe Starfield will win just because it's Bethesda. You know how that happens. I just
Yeah,
think really it's It's not even the quality of the game, it's just who made the game. Like, Elden Ring won Game of the Year last year. I love that game. It's freaking awesome, but it runs like dog cheeks half the time with the stuttering. I don't know how the hell it won Game of the Year. It's just, it boggles my mind. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens for sure. But I think Spider-Man 2 does have a very fair shot. I mean, just from what I've seen,
Yeah,
looks
I
pretty
mean,
damn neato.
at least it has a fair shot. I mean, look, I think it's already secured a nomination, right? But I think it's so wrong for people to say that Zelda's gonna just blow it out of the water. It's not even gonna get nominated. I feel like you gotta be insane to think that,
Yeah,
because you need to play the two previous games, and then you come to me and be like that game was amazing. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 definitely is gonna be nominated. So I'm dying on the hill that it will win Game of the Year, and I will be so happy when it does, because it absolutely deserves it. Insomniac deserves it for all the hard work that they do. Um, and Zelda can be Zelda, but can you be Spider-Man in Zelda? That's my question. And it's also has the best traversal system of all time.
I'd have to agree. I think the Just Cause 4 is pretty good. I think Dying
Well,
Light
we are
2 is
getting a
really good,
wingsuit.
but
Spider-Man
no,
2 is
Spider-Man's
getting a
great.
wingsuit, so
Oh
that's
yeah,
also another thing. So it's gonna add that Just Cause 4 element to it.
that's
And
true.
people want to be like, "Oh yeah, what's the point of swinging if you can just the web glide or whatever?" I'm like,
Yeah,
dude, do you play a Spider-Man game to glide, or do you play it to swing? Because personally, I play a Spider-Man game to swing around the city, because that's more sensational and that's more cool to do. I mean,
yeah.
look, there's gonna be a lot of improvements. It's like I said, it can only go up from here. So already calling it a 10 out of 10. We're getting Craven, Venom. We're getting the symbiote suit. We're gonna get probably a great performance from Yuri Lowenthal. I mean, probably best performance nomination as well. Um, but I think Hogwarts Legacy has a good shot. I don't think any remakes should be Game of the Year. I mean, personally,
That's fair. I
but
don't know. I don't think Hogwarts Legacy has it in it to win, only because of the controversy. I think
I
they'd be
do
too.
think it deserves a lot of praise, though.
It
hundred
does.
percent.
It no, it really does. It's just that they I think they'd be too scared to give it anything.
Yeah. So, guys, we'll see how it unfolds on December 8th. I think that's when they kind of host the annual Game Awards. But I mean, I'm so excited for Spider-Man 2.
I am.
That's just it's gonna be insane.
I'm not even playing it when it comes out, but I'm still excited to see it. Like I just want to hear what you have to think. I mean, that's going to be insane. And when does it come out? You said it's September,
October 20th. So
October. Okay,
about 2 months and 17 days.
Jesus.
Oh man, my most anticipated game of all time, by the way.
So I've heard you've had a lot of those.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, ever since 2 years ago, I mean, but it's definitely something I'm gonna cherish for the rest of my life.
Well, good. You better.
I will.
Good.
But yeah, game of the year. What do you guys think?
Make sure to tell us down below. I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, this year's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a rough year because I don't know who's gonna win, but I don't know. I tell you what's not gonna win though, my PC battery, because I'm not next to an outlet and my PC is about to die. But I mean, that thing was on full damn charge. But let me tell you guys something. We are gonna be doing a second part because I am extremely excited to do another one because we have a lot to talk about. I want to talk about Disney. I want to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, Star Wars, the whole shebang. It's gonna be lit.
Litty, man. I mean, we still have a lot of great stuff coming out this year. 2023 has been a great year for like media and stuff. I'll say that.
I 100% agree. I was trying to think of something clever to say. I can't think of it. I 100% agree. I think it's going to be a really tough contender for not only Game of the Year, but also just Movie of the Year. And I'm also excited to see what the other topics are. Like you said, there's a whole bunch to talk about. We missed a lot. I mean, we've been talking, guys, but for podcasts at least, it's been a hot minute. So it'll be interesting to see what topics we have next time. But I for sure want to talk about Disney, Far Cry, all the other crazy stuff. But what do you guys want to talk about down below? If you have any kind of say in the matter, what do you guys want us to talk about? Make sure to tell us down below because we'll cover it for sure. We'll shout you out whole 9 yards. But dude, hey, I'm excited to cover more. But thanks for having me on. I guess thanks for agreeing to do this because it's been
Of
fun.
course.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. I'm never doing a podcast with you again, man.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you
I've
will.
offended you.
You've offended me. You're not using my pronouns, right?
Oh yeah, sorry. She, her. I forgot.
Just
Right.
say ale.
I'm still recording. This is all gonna go on YouTube.
Why?
All of it. It's gonna be awesome.
Why?
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Oh boy, can't wait to do more. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.
We won't.
Oh, we will.